G'day there, class. So today what I want to teach you is, as fantasy readers, your first task is not just to figure out what's happening in the story, but where the kind of place it is, the setting. So one way you can do that is to investigate the clues of the book using the covers, blurbs, and details from the beginning of the book. So I've read chapter 1 and chapter 2 is recorded, so you can watch that today. But I didn't talk about any of that at all. I just went straight into it. So when we're looking at the book here, the visual clues, you can see like a haunted house or a big castle kind of thing. So that's going to kind of allude to what the book's like, and it's kind of like dark and gloomy, a bit mysterious. What we can do is then we can start reading the blurbs. Menacing demons, wondrous miracles, sinister magic, and vivid characters. A compulsive, lightning-paced tale that almost begs to be read aloud. And when we go to the back, Mr. Hood's holiday house has stood for 1,000 years, welcoming countless children into its embrace. It's a place of miracles where every child whim may be satisfied, but there's a price to be paid. Of course, but young Harvey Swick, bored with his life and beguiled by Mr. Hood's wonders, does not stop to consider the consequences. It is only when the house shows its darker face, when Harvey discovers the pitiful creatures that dwell in its shadows, that he comes to doubt Mr. Hood's philanthropy. But the house and its mysterious architect are not about to release their captive without a battle. Mr. Hood has ambitions for his new guest, for Harvey's soul burns brighter than any he has encountered in 10 centuries. So, then you've got a few recommendations. So, Barker puts the dark side back into childhood fantasy. A wonderful story. None of Clive Barker's admirers are likely to go away disappointed. So, really, by looking at the blurbs and the cover and that kind of stuff, it's going to give you an indication of what the book may be about. So generally when it comes to fantasy, when we're looking at settings, you know, it could be like a fantasy world or like sort of medieval, so like knights, dragons, castles, that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's a futuristic world, so it's, you know, spaceships, planets, intergalactic, that kind of stuff. But then other times it's kind of set in the modern world, and then like magic will kind of creep into the book. And like so far, looking at this book, this is what that seems to be like. So it's just like everyday life. We've got a school kid here who's kind of bored, and you know, winter, he's not liking winter, and all of a sudden he's kind of drawn into this magic. So, you know, that's kind of three basic or common kind of themes with the settings in fantasy. So when I read chapter 1, I didn't really talk about the book at all. And so we know that Harvey, he's moping around in his house. He's really bored. He's hating winter. And all of a sudden, Rictus suddenly appears. Now, had we kind of gone and read the cover and read the blurbs and looked into it more, when Rictus appears, we understand, wait a sec, that's, you know, it's probably not his imagination's probably real. You know, there's some magic going on in this story. So really your task is to look into the setting. Now, you've probably just started your book, but what can you find out about your setting? So remember, setting is a time and the place. Have a look at the PDF I've attached. Has some more information of what I want you to look for. And remember, we're always digging for that gold. So we're trying to extract the information, extract the gold from the mine, so to speak. So just copy and paste the PDF into Notability. And I want you to just type or write into that as long as it's legible. Another thing I'd like you to look at in session 1, and then I know that we've just started our books, but who holds the power? And then how do you know? So in the case of the Thief of Always, we've got Harvey, okay, and then we've got Rictus are the two main characters so far. So then I'd ask, well, who would have the power out of those two? Does Harvey hold it, or does Rictus? So obviously the answer is Rictus. He's some sort of magical kind of, well, I wouldn't call him a beast, but a magical kind of person. So in your novel, who has holding the power so far out of the characters that you've met? Now, every book's different, but what I want you to look at is the relationships between the characters in the first few pages, and, you know, is someone a stronger character than the other person, or whatever it may be. But then, you know, so you're looking for who controls or who has the power, but how do you know? So then what I want you to do is just kind of jot some stuff down. So I've got a few questions on the PDF that I want you to kind of answer as well. So I will speak to you guys a bit later, but that will be it for session 1. So that is for Tuesdays and Wednesdays lesson. I'll post another video and another chapter tomorrow, and then Thursday, Friday will be session 2, and I'll be doing some more explaining as well as some chapter videos for you. Okay, thank you.